The Detroit Independent Freedom Schools movement, DIFS,
was initiated 3 years ago
by a small group of social justice activists who felt compelled to respond to the crisis in public education brought on by the state's destructive emergency management policies. Curricular disorganization, classroom overcrowding, dysfunctional, unclean facilities, as well as administrative incompetence and corruption had dismantled the school system to an alarming extent. DIFS forged a coalition of the various civic organizations involved in education justice work. We recruited retired teachers, college students, artists, and others to work as volunteers. We reminded each other of Detroit's legacy of self-determination in the face of crisis and turned to the historic concept and practice of freedom schools to protect, affirm, and nurture the children. We set out to organize freedom schools across the city wherever we could identify safe environments in which to meet the children in the afternoons after school and on Saturdays. The Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History offered space for a freedom school during the 2016 school year. More than 100 Detroit public schools have been closed over the last decade. Our freedom schools are intended to respond to this immediate crisis. However, for the long term, DIFS will continue to demand that Detroit public schools remain open and that they deliver the education that our children must have in 21st century society. The learning activities at our freedom schools are primarily academic and cultural, with the objective of broadening the intellectual experiences and competence of the children, while affirming their heritage, their ability to learn, and their creativity. However, in the summer of 2017, DIFS volunteer and professional caterer Bianca Danzi offered to teach a class in nutrition. At her suggestion, the class evolved into a project that included gardening and learning how to prepare healthy meals. We had the enthusiastic support of museum CEO and president, Miss Juanita Moore, who permitted us to install a garden on the museum's patio. We've carried out the gardening project for 2 consecutive summers, with the children raising tomatoes, eggplant, squash, peppers, basil, and other herbs. The teaching objectives are to heighten the children's awareness of their interrelation with and dependence upon the natural environment, to help them understand the struggle for food justice in the United States, to concretize and demonstrate for them the principles of self-determination and discipline in the growing, harvesting, preparing, and preserving of food, and finally to apprise them of African American farming legacies and food culture. The gardening experience is of great value to the children, as Detroit is a food desert where many low-income residents struggle to obtain adequate nutrition. The urgency of this problem has fostered a culture of urban farming in Detroit, which has in turn generated activist experts who are ready to teach the skills of agricultural production.
Our summer gardening projects have been led by such experts,
such as Bianca Danzi, Shakira Tyler, Abba Ifoma, Naeem Edwards, and master gardener Kwamina Mensah, who designed and led the construction of the museum garden. Ms. Moore pointed out that in supporting the garden, the museum set an example, and that's what this museum should be doing. Yes, the Wright Museum has set a fine example in supporting the Freedom School Garden Project, and subsequently, the Garden Project has facilitated an ingenious response to the city's imperatives of stormwater drainage. The children's garden beds provided a substantial rain catchment. But suppose the garden could be planted directly into the ground and in larger beds across the patio. Aha! Working with a landscape architect and engineers, the Freedom School volunteers agreed to dismantle the garden beds and prepare for the excavation of patio stones to open up larger areas of the patio for planting. Fortunately, it was possible to carry out the excavation in a manner that preserved the patio's original design. So next spring, the children will plant directly into the earth. The patio will be opened up to provide a gathering space for museum visitors, showing off new signage designed by the children, comfortable seating, large pots of flowers and herbs, and of course, the children's thriving vegetable crops. Museum Vice President Charles Farrell explains, "As a history museum and a sacred place, we embrace the garden and stormwater projects because they offer vital educational experiences for the children, as well as opportunities for collaboration with community organizations. It's another way that the Charles Wright is attempting to be more than just a museum, but to be also a center for the community to come and say, this is our institution."